This is another day and another dollar. I was trying to put my iOS webcam up in the kitchen so I can cook while I chat. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this because it didn't seem to come on. So that bums me out. And so I might have to mess with it. I don't know. I was going to try to cook. So maybe I could extend this webcam over or turn it or do something. I have a technical failure here, which is not groovy because it says that it's on. I'm going to go and take it, but I don't see any images. It's not happening. So that's a bummer. So give me a second here. Maybe I can change it. So anyway, I'm trying to bring a portable camera. Let's see if I can do that and make it happen. Well, I'm here today because I was going to cook a live cooking situation. And I'm going to... oh, well, maybe it's this one here. Maybe I just selected the wrong one. No, that isn't it. And it all seems to be right, but it doesn't seem to be. And it's green, but it's not really happening. Which really bums me out. I guess I'll just chat away and maybe I'll go to my living room. I'll be right back here. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm in my living room, and I guess I won't be able to cook because I can't get my portable webcam to see what's going on here, and to be hooked into this for some reason. I really need to practice with this more to make things work out. But anyway. What I was going to chat about while I was cooking was the condition of our political situation here in Nebraska. We have a bunch of Republicans running right now that are anti-constitutionalists. They don't really believe in the freedom of speech. They seem to be anti-anybody of color because they've been using the same dog whistles, as they call them, immigration, critical race theory, and anti-homosexual transgender. They seem to not be interested in freedom in any way, shape, or form. They seem to be interested in controlling Nebraskans' personal life. And I feel like all these issues are really non-issues because most of us are concerned about getting our kids to school and getting, a good job and doing well in life instead of telling others what to do. So the ads for the Republican side seem to be just horrible in the sense that, we have to stop immigration, which is why we have a shortage of labor right now, because they cracked down hard on immigration in the last, with the last president. And guess what? Now we're short of labor and companies can't find enough people to work, which has improved wages, and that's a good thing. But at some point, that the balance is going to have to tip to get more workers in. We're only having 1.7 people per couple. So we're not even replacing ourselves. We're not even having 2 children per couple. It's like 1.7, 1.5, depending on where you're living in the country. So we do need more immigration, because if we don't get more people in to replace ourselves, that means in the future, the economy is going to shrink, and your homes and your stocks and your businesses are going to be worth less because there'll be less people around to purchase them and less people around to buy your goods and services. So I don't know what we're so afraid of with immigration and having people move here. I don't know why we don't want to be a country that people would want to come to. In the past, that was what we strived to be. You know, the great country that was going to abide by people's freedoms. And then this critical race theory. Oh, we can't teach critical race theory and we have to ban books. Well, I don't understand what white people are thinking. I mean, don't you tell your children the history of your family? How they got here, how they immigrated? Don't you think folks of color are going to also tell their families how they got here and what their past was about? So if you're not interested in teaching the truth about American history to the white kids, well, the only people who aren't going to know about this history is the white kids. So we have white male politicians saying that we shouldn't teach critical race theory or the truth about American history. And the only people that's going to punish in the future is their own children, white kids. Because everybody else is going to tell their kids how their families got here and the history of their families. So when your white children go and try to get a job in the future, it's not going to work out very well, because those corporations that are now international and now need multiple languages to operate in multiple countries around the world, they're not going to hire your children because they're not going to know anything. They're not going to know multiple languages. They have been protected from knowing information, knowing the truth in the world. So, you know, like in the 50s when they built swimming pools and they built all kinds of wonderful things in our society because they really thought that would help create a better world, soon as folks of color could access it, well, then they just shut them down. I went to a place called Redmond Valley Swimming Pool, and as a child, I never put 2 and 2 together at the time. I was a child. I just didn't know. But it was a pool in the black side of town, and the pool was full of white kids. And I remember seeing the black kids leaning up against the fence on their bike, staring at us. And then I remember hearing how black folks didn't know how to swim and how that was such a joke in the white community. Well, I didn't know how to swim either until I took swimming lessons at Redmond Valley Swimming Pool that was in the middle of a community that couldn't access. And the minute they could access that, they shut the pool down. So I never got to be on the swim team because the pool got shut down before I became old enough. So who was punished in that situation? Was it the black folks who were denied swimming, or was it me, a white person who no longer had access to a swimming pool? So these horrible policies that we seem to be advocating, white racists seem to be advocating, all of the Republican candidates here in the state of Nebraska are all clamoring to be the one to hurt our future and hurt the future of white kids. So I really don't understand why we accept this, why we're willing to accept our own white children not being educated about the truth of history, not allowing our white children access to books in the library. And then another subject that our white Republicans here in the state of Nebraska are running on is that they're they're anti-abortion. Now, I want to make it clear, since this medical procedure was invented, our population has grown. More people have survived childbirth. It's more dangerous to birth a child than it is to have an abortion. And there are all kinds of natural abortions and all kinds of problems with childbirth that get solved with this medical procedure. And now other states are trying to get rid of gender-affirming drugs, which are used for children who grow too fast and need to slow their growth down because they're in pain. There are other medical reasons to use these same exact drugs besides gender reassignment. So who's going to suffer? Well, who can afford medical care? White folks. And now white folks won't be able to access life-saving medical care because we somehow have gotten in our head that politicians know all about medical care. And they don't. Politicians are usually the third rate in schools. You know, the highest educated go on to corporations and universities, and the second rate are small businesses, and it's the third rate educated who go into politics. So, right now, our city council is trying to disempower our health lady who runs the Douglas County health lady, who makes decisions about when the pandemics are coming in. And they want to have it run through her and run through some guy on the fire department who does medical, who's not even trained in pandemic. And somehow adding more people to the thing is going to somehow make it better. I don't know why they would bother with another medical person's advice when if the city council doesn't like it or if the mayor decides she doesn't like it, they're just going to say no. We need medical people in charge of medical decisions. Why are white Republican males hate women so much that they want to deny them proper medical care? I don't know. I have no idea why they hate women so much, why they hate dark-skinned folks so much. I mean, it seems like the white racists have taken over our politics in the Republican Party. And it's highly concerning to me. It's somewhat disgusting. We should be getting more books in the library, not less. We should be learning more about American history, not less. I mean, we have the right to associate with who we want. It's in our Constitution. We have the right to learn. Our public schools should be about expansive learning, not contracting learning. And why are these white Republicans so weak that they're not willing to educate themselves? And if they don't think, this opinion is right or this opinion's wrong, why they're so weak in not just intelligently arguing the points. But instead, they're trying to rig elections so they don't lose. And the reason they're trying to rig elections by gerrymandering the election is because they don't have a good argument. They can't argue that being a white racist is a good idea and that by excluding people is a good idea. So they have to jerry-rig the elections to try to win. Like they're cheating because they're losing. Because people don't agree with what their solutions are. So I suggest that we vote for Carol Blood here in Nebraska for the governor. She's not somebody who's going to ban books. She's not somebody who's going to try to make your children learn less because, well, it might upset somebody or it might upset you. She's inclusive. She wants to include and broaden the access to information, broaden access to education. She wants to broaden access, not limit it. I pay tax money and I want more access, not less. When you go to a doctor, you want to have every medical treatment available, not less. So we have to vote for Carol Blood in our governorship here. We need to vote for women in general because the only way to truly change our politics is to get rid of the white men. You know, when they're so worried about teaching children about sex and teaching children about transgender, if you look at the news, who's in the news? White male priests, white male coaches, white male rich people. They're in the news for pedophile. We've had a Douglas County sheriff arrested for having sex with an underage person. We've had a white male Omaha police officer arrested for transporting pedophilia pictures and things. And then they discovered it was an FBI investigation, and they actually discovered that he was creating it. So the pedophiles and the people who make your children endangered are white males. The upstanding white males in our community are the ones that are usually taken to jail for hurting children. Boy Scout leaders. White male Boy Scout leaders. That's who's carted off to jail for hurting your children. Not a transgender person. Not a gay person. That's just by percentage. It's white males who endanger us. It's the white males in the Republican Party who want to change the rules to cheat, to limit your children's ability to access true information about American history. I mean, it's just 100% ridiculous. I was going to put up the faces of the pedophiles, which were all white males, but I decided, why give them advertisements? Why? Why continue to promote their names? I don't want to promote their names. I want them to go to jail. So, if you want common sense, we have to start electing women to powerful offices, because that's a true change. White males are the ones that have been controlling our politics and controlling the money and controlling the rules for centuries. And now we're here at a point where they're trying to ban things, sensible things. You know, it was in the 80s when they started the drug war, Republican president. And now we're undoing the drug war because it doesn't work. Fear does not work. Fear is not the way. Understanding what the problems are and then solving them. You know, we had the GI Bill, but 90% of every GI Bill loan to buy a home went to white people because the black neighborhoods were redlined. So the banks wouldn't loan it to them even with the GI Bill, even though black folks were in the military. I mean, what we thought that somehow keeping black people impoverished is gonna somehow strengthen our country? All it did was usher in a welfare system that had to be created, which then ended up taxing the white folks to have to pay for that because they're the ones who had the wealth. So preventing black folks from creating wealth and buying homes and not swimming in the swimming pools only created more problems for the white community later. I mean, when will we understand that when we help others, we're helping ourselves? When we hurt others, we're hurting ourselves. And that's the message that I wanted to say today, is let's stop hurting ourselves and let's start helping other people. And if you're watching this and you at all believe in what Jesus said, turning the other cheek, man asks you for your coat, give him your shirt too, do unto others as you would do unto yourself, then do those things. And let's just quit this anger, quit the lying. You know, having all these news media out there lying is ridiculous. Then people believing those lies and then regurgitating those lies on social media. We need to stop this. We need to dig into the truth of the matter. And we need, if you want to protect your children, you need to disempower the white males who are in control on the Republican side mainly, because that's the folks who are out there shooting their big mouths off. You know, the Supreme Court was disgusting. The Supreme Court meetings that they were having. The Republicans were just regurgitating pedophilia information over and over and over like it somehow excited them. Things that shouldn't even be said on national television. And here they were just repeating it over, each and every one of them, picking up the thing and wanting to get back into child pedophilia. That makes me worried and nervous. Not that they're actually trying to stop it, it's that they enjoy talking about it. That they enjoy it. So, I used to be a Republican back in late 70s, early 90s, but I left because they wanted to start controlling people's social lives, personal lives, things that are none of their business. They need to get back to building our economy. They need to get back to lowering our taxes and making investments in infrastructure that actually help more people. Instead of always denying, contracting, trying to keep you from. We're adults out here. Parents know how to raise their children. Parents can do it without your help. So, again, in the state of Nebraska, vote for Carol Blood. And of course, vote for all women across the board as often as you can. Because until women are 51% of who's elected and 51% of the CEOs and 51% of the decision makers, we have to constantly stay vigilant and get more and more women. Because we're not a representative democracy. our democracy's tilted towards white males. And I don't know why, because they haven't proved themselves to be worthy of having those decisions in their hands. So, you have yourself a nice day. Thank you.